Hello, I'm Dr. Son-Yun Seok from Pleasure Plastic Surgery Clinic. Today I'd like to talk a bit about asymmetrical eyes. While watching the trauma center show and looking at Joo Ji-hoon's eyes, his asymmetrical eyes really stood out to me. If you look at Joo Ji-hoon's eyes, you'll see that he has a thin double eyelid on the left side, but none at all on the right. Because of this, the impression each eye gives is different. The thin double eyelid line on the left side tends to create a softer and somewhat younger look. And since there's no double eyelid line on the right, the eyelid skin looks a bit droopy. Because of that, it gives off a more mature vibe and, in a way, a slightly stronger impression. So you can see that the image each eye gives off is a bit different. Actually, there are a lot of people like this besides Joo Ji-hoon. It's the same for BTS's V, Lee Gi-kwang, Kang Han-yul, and Kang Dong-won as well. But interestingly, if you look at photos of these people, they all consistently have a double eyelid line on the left side and none on the right, showing this kind of asymmetry. PD Nim, you also have a double eyelid on the left side, but not on the right? So it's really fascinating, isn't it? Why is it like this? So to reveal this secret, actually, for most people who have facial asymmetry, especially among Koreans, when there is asymmetry, in about 60 to 70% of cases, the left side of the face is longer. Because of that, the distance between the eyebrow and the eye is also longer on the left side, and even the skin of the eyelid itself is thinner on the left. As a result, with this thinner skin, wrinkles tend to form more easily, and those wrinkles often become natural double eyelid lines. On the other hand, on the right side, the distance between the eyebrow and the eye is a bit shorter, and the skin is also thicker. That's why it's generally harder for a double eyelid line to form on the right side. There are cases where the double eyelid loosens after surgery. In many of those cases, it loosens on the right side. So on the right side, there is usually more resistance, and the conditions make it harder for a double eyelid line to form. So if you look in the mirror, you'll find that quite a few people fit this description exactly, which is pretty interesting. So when you have uneven eyelids like this, of course for actors, their own unique charm can make even asymmetrical eyes appealing. But in everyday life, if the difference between the two eyes is too noticeable, it can look a bit off. In that case, you need to address it, and if you already have a double eyelid line on the left side, if the crease is well defined, then you actually only need to operate on the right side. There's no problem with just performing surgery on the right side, but if the double eyelid line on the left is unclear or uneven, or if it's not really there at all, then it's better to operate on both sides to make the lines match. Even in this case, you actually need to take into account the differences between the right and left sides when performing the surgery. Since the eyes are on both sides, you have to consider symmetry as much as possible during surgery. If you take these factors into account and perform the surgery this way, both sides will look as similar as possible, helping to resolve any facial asymmetry.
There may be people who want to follow celebrities and deliberately ask for asymmetrical eyes through plastic surgery. In those cases, how do you usually perform the surgery?
Honestly, I've never had anyone like that. But if that really were the case, I suppose you could operate on just one side, right? You could do just one side, or you could adjust the height to make one side a bit higher, something like that. Actually, these days there are some people with rather unique preferences. For example, there are people who ask to have a hump added to their nose, or who want an upturned nose on purpose, or even those who want a hooked nose intentionally. There really are people like that. But when it comes to the eyes, I think most ordinary people are quite sensitive about symmetry. In fact, many people worry that their eyes might end up looking different from each other, and there are actually far more people who come in because their eyes are asymmetrical and they want to correct that.